Today is Friday, November 16th, 2012. New day. Good morning. I'm reading Psalm 39 this morning, and I'm going to start with a prayer. Lord, please come into my heart and mind. Help me to absorb the message that you have for me in this psalm and find the meaning for today. Amen. Psalm 29. For Jeduthun, the choir director, a psalm of David. I said to myself, I will watch what I do and not sin in what I say. I will curb my tongue when the ungodly are around me. But as I stood there in silence, not even speaking of good things, the turmoil within me grew to the bursting point. My thoughts grew hot within me and began to burn, igniting a fire of words. Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be. Remind me that my days are numbered and that my life is fleeing away. My life is no longer than the width of my hand. An entire lifetime is just a moment to you. Human existence is but a breath. Interlude. We are merely moving shadows, and all our busy rushing ends in nothing. We heap up wealth for someone else to spend. And so, Lord, where do I put my hope? My only hope is in you. Rescue me from my rebellion, for even fools mock me when I rebel. I am silent before you. I won't say a word, for my punishment is from you. Please don't punish me anymore. I am exhausted by the blows from your hand. When you discipline people for their sins, their lives can be crushed like the life of a moth. Human existence is as frail as breath. Interlude. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Listen to my cries for help. Don't ignore my tears, for I am your guest, a traveler passing through. As my ancestors were before me, spare me so I can smile again before I am gone and exist no more. All right, so this is really interesting and baffling, and parts of it totally resonate and parts of it are like, what? That's not how it is. So I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this psalm. I just paused for a minute and read a whole bunch of different translations, and I certainly get different things from each. But I still come back to similar things from each. The first three verses sound just like me. I'll watch what I do and not sin in what I say. I will curb my tongue when the ungodly are around me. Like, there's my resolution. If I have nothing nice to say, I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm not going to complain or whine or look at the downside. I'm just going to hold my tongue. But as I stood there in silence, not even speaking of good things, the turmoil within me grew to the bursting point. My thoughts grew hot within me and began to burn, igniting a fire of words. That just makes me think of me so much. I'm a very talkative person, and I will periodically come to the conclusion that I talk too much, and so I'll be like, all right, I'm just going to stop talking. I'm not going to say anything at all. And I'll be able to pull it off for, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the situation, and then I'll just explode with all these things that I've resisted saying. If I'm having a conversation and it's with somebody that I disagree with, and I'm like, I'm just going to be nice. I'm not going to say anything. If I disagree, I'm just going to let it be. But eventually it just wears me down and I just go, you're wrong. And rah, 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 rah. So those verses apply to me in many different ways. And the bit about life being brief definitely just feels literally true, and it speaks to me in that sense. It does make it feel like, what are we doing? Trying to heap up wealth for someone else to spend. It really does feel like, especially Americans do a lot of that. I'm trying to think what that means on a spiritual level. Wealth for someone else to spend. We heap up wealth for someone else to spend. Knowing what's true can be seen as wealth. And of course there's what we believe is true, and then there's what's really true. And the two don't usually mesh. We heap up wealth for someone else to spend. Actually, is a way of reading that almost sounds like I'm trying to be smart so that I can tell everybody else how to live. So that I'll have all this wisdom to give you, and you should do what I say, is one way of interpreting that. I'm having a lot of trouble with the part about being punished by God. I'm exhausted by the blows from your hand. I think God is fair, ultimately. We all have different lives and different experiences. Some of us have a harder time than others. But I think of God as sort of the great leveler. Like, ultimately, in the end, we all get just as good a shot at going to heaven as any other person. And I don't believe God punishes us. I just can't get over that idea. I don't think God does. I think our actions lead to natural consequences that feel like punishment. But what do you think? Because I don't. Maybe I'm totally wrong. So leave a comment below. Explain what you think and why.
Yeah.
Tell me how to understand this psalm. And here's my baby, so I gotta go. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a blessed day.